Do the what? Tootsie. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's a chalk outline. It's not a sexy dance? Ben Wander presents a case of distrust. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to, again, a case of distrust. I found this on Game Jolt. It's a demo, so let's actually quickly, is there no, well, I'm still, anyways, I was wondering if there's a text, but I don't know if there's any speaking. Maybe this isn't a speakeasy. A dame, and it's 1920s, trying to talk detective, don't assume sexual assault. Anyways. There's any other Friday, sitting in my office, I woke in my desk chair. This is less of a detective, more of a southern gent. Screw it, I'm going with it. Across from me, where his piercing amber eyes. They surprised me at first, but I should have known he'd be there. I stretched and said mid-yawn, not nice to sneak up into a sleeping woman's apartment, but his stare just continued. So actually giving me a southern gent, this was heaven to beg a try. There, how about Southern Belle? Something better. I don't know why I'm doing Southern, but I laughed at his glare. I cursed and opened the window. I laughed at his glare. I seen San Francisco screw thugs, hardened cops, and deadly politicians, but none could ever match that gaze. Very nice of what we saw with the text, it was again just how everything. I knew I didn't have what he wanted. Reaching to my coat, I took out my knife and flicked it open. I gave him the knife. I held the knife steady. Why would I give him? Well, again, we don't know. Who is this guy? By the way, this bass line is amazing. That's why I was silent. I was trying to figure this out. I don't know what the fuck to do, but I was just listening to that amazing bass line. Anyone got a cigarette? I don't smoke, but we need some atmosphere. Anyways, I gave him the knife. I held the knife steady. What happens if I give him the knife? I gave him the knife, sliding it across the desk. Look, I said, that's all there is. Take it or leave it. But a detective knows when she's beat. And I knew then he wanted to search the place, and that's what he'll do. I sighed, knowing my weakness for his type. All right, I said, let's look. He let out a grateful meow in victory. I picked up my knife and cut a piece of my apple. It was his cat the whole time. What a twist! Anyways, the cat's the villain. The cat did it. Well, cats are evil. That's just a fact. No one doubts that. So, anyways. The cat had rejected. Always a sore winner. I jabbed. But I was smiling too much because I was telling the truth. There's absolutely no other food in this apartment. The cat often dropped by to scavenge. He made a lot of noise when he came through. I was holding out on him. When he thought, I can read. Hey, oh, do I get to choose stuff now? Oh, I do. But right now, the place was clean and empty. No food anywhere. I do declare I had to prove it to him. Nothing in the book. My old notebook. Now filled to the brim with, I wrote everything down, even the minor details, never knowing what can be useful. The first half of my old case, the second half of my current. Well, we'll see about the current. The second half of my current bunk. Again, I go from the male to... It's a horrible accent anyways. The only thing I get hired to do. Whether my findings, my employers often refused to believe me. It was thankless work, but even that was hard to come by. Can I click on the book again? I can. Never know what it could be. It doesn't give me the option again. Oh, hold on. A cute girl is texting me. Ha ha ha. Be right back. Just said I was perfect. No, just kidding. Anyways, notebook. Okay. Oh, that's my phone charging, by the way. Oh, I have notes. Having to beg a Troy. Anyways, a newspaper was flopped on the floor. It had headlines about the death of Lenin, leader of the Red Menace sweeping Russia. It seems the Bolsheviks have lost their heads, so to speak. I kept a small statue underneath the side table. It has been police evidence in the crime, and its owner hadn't wanted it back. I took a shine to it, so I snagged it for myself and on my way out the apartment, if you catch my drift. Alright, so that's that. Packaged cigarettes, the latest trends, but I still preferred to roll my own joints. The ashtray was evidence that it was a practice guild. I suppose I had a lot of free time back then. A lot of munchies. That's why there's no food left. Because you're a pothead! Anyways, now legal in California. The lamp had belonged to my Uncle Lewis. He's been a San Francisco PD officer, one who argued police women couldn't be good detectives, even while the others jeered at him. Wait a minute, no, he's one that says could be. Ah, I see. I'm about to say, is he a sexist, but everyone jeered him? Like, isn't that? No, anyways. Right, he was cheering us on. I knew he'd been all right, but my current workload didn't help that claim. I thought about Lewis. I thought more than I off. I was lousy at handling the emotion behind those thoughts. Is that your paperwork? I'd taken copies of the old murder cases from the San Francisco PD records when I left. I love reading through, really, even though my own contributions were minimal. At the time, I longed for those types of jobs. The truth was, any work was hard to find for a female detective. Excuse me. I need to edit this out. Oh, hopefully I did. And you didn't hear that. Ooh. If you did, sorry. I'm a lazy editor too. I could do the cat next, or I could do the, okay. How about the safe? No, that's okay, fridge. The regular white ice box, tinged yellow with age, half blocked the kitchen doorway. Oof, the vapors. My income really didn't keep much stocked in it, and right now it was as empty as my stomach. How about you, Miss Kitty? The cat had waltzed into my apartment a few years earlier. He kept coming back. Matter of fact, the cat came back the very next day. I mean, the cat came back. I thought he was a goner, but the cat came back. I swear he just wouldn't go away. Bit of Bob Dylan there at the end. Hey! Anyways, he kept coming back, though there was rarely a morsel to eat. He continued his loud meowing until I proved to him the place was empty of food. Whoosh! It doesn't matter how doughy-eyed you are, cutie pie. We got no food around here, I told him. He licked his chops and looked at me. Apparently he still doesn't believe that. I need to contradict him somehow, to show him something in the apartment that would prove that it was empty of food. Don't know why I did a William Shatner pause there, but forgive me. Contradict. There were no cases just then, but the cat meowing, blah blah blah. Goal. The cat would insist on meowing until I proved it. So use contradict. So, You won't stop until I can show you, my humble cat, that there is no food here for me, much less you, my cute little feline. Other than this right here apple, which you done right now, refused. He let out a loud meow in response. Well, alright, I sighed. I had to show him where I kept the food was completely empty. I'll go ahead and contradict. Okay, evidence. Oh, is this where I do the contradicts? Icebox. The regular icebox tinged with a blah blah. Here you go. I opened the icebox so the cat could see inside. As soon as he was inside, I shut it! I am eating tonight! Is it wrong if I say I'm eating pussy tonight? Anyways, I told him. The cat looked quizzitively, I'm drunk, forgive me, at the open door and then back at me. Sorry there, little fella. There's no grub there, I do declare. In there for me either. I do declare. What did I declare there in the middle? He stared at me with eyes as disappointed as I felt. Those big yellow eyes always got to my soul. Though thoughts of my family filled my head. Sister. My parents? I don't know. Sister, I guess. My sister, Merkel, maybe I was right with the Southern, had sent a letter with an update from her life in Chicago. She and her husband had just purchased a new home outside the bluster of the city, what they now calling that their suburbs. Their 3 young children were looking forward to the move. I never told Merkel, but those letters kept me going. Sure, why not? But those letters kept me going. Hearing about my family, however remote, helped me cope with the isolation I was feeling. I refused to accept it myself back then, but perhaps Merkel had it always known. My sister had an ordinary lifestyle that I rejected. I wanted to save myself, to change the world, to bring justice for victims, especially the feline kind. Right, buddy? High five. All right, cats don't do that. Ones who no longer had a voice. Again, like the cat. High five. All right, you don't do that. Now that I was helping advance that cause with my types of cases coming my way. That was in English, but again, blame the goose. Got me feeling loose. I do declare, my mind spiraled into the usual series of questions. How is this even remotely close to a southern accent? Had I even impacted the women's movement? Had I made any change in society at all? Was my plodding career worth losing traditional happiness? What was the point in the life I had chosen? A loud meow came from the cat, snapped my back from my thoughts and into the moment. I took a deep breath and grinned back at him. Guess you can scram now, I said. Nobody's gonna come knocking with food for you, fella. Who's it? No, I didn't order any pizza. I can't pay for it. What about sausage? Anyways, this game about a women's movement and I'm making a porn joke. There immediately came a banging on the front door. Beyond a nuisance, this cat was psychic too. You order out, I asked him. Open the door. Again, love those transitions. Musical, magnificent, can't speak. In the doorway was he's actually green even. A doorway was a regrettable, familiar face, Connor Green. I stared at him, I looked past him, his company turned my stomach. I stared at him. a higher hand for whoever needed the job done, but Green snitched whenever he was put in a squeeze. Mainly if you squeezed his balls hard enough, he'd give you his mother up if he would get him away. Working the beats, I remembered that all too well. Remarkably, the underground has been blind to it, but Green wasn't particularly astucious. I was certain the criminal ranks would eventually plug him. He looked right through me. He looked at me through the doorway with a coy smile. Well, ain't you gonna invite me in? Start closing the door. Let him through. I let him through the door before closing it. Hey now, he said, looking at the apartment. You know, wait a minute, I'm using, he's a bit of a creep. Hey now, you know, this clutter might turn off some customers. Maybe not me, though. So, that was his angle. Hiring me as a detective. I wondered what bootlegger would need with a private eye, but he answered without prompt. I make this quick. You see, I can't take this to the hog house or the pigs would laugh at me out. That voice is killing me. And the other dicks just aren't as tempting. He grinned widely. Though this was, I thought this was going to be quick, I said, and I started rolling a cigarette. It wasn't quick, and I already rolled and lighted a second smoke. Okay. It started with a letter slipped under his door in a white envelope. Again, that transition, brilliant, because it's talking about, I love that. It read, because again, in reality, this is just text so far, and this is a choose your own adventure, but the nice music, the transitions, and the color and the theme, it all makes it work. Anyways, the envelope contained a single typewritten leaf, which he handed to me. A leaf? Who types on a leaf? Oh, I think they mean paper. It read, "End your game, or we'll end you." It had no signature. Instead, ending with only a small scribble in the bottom right corner that resembled a black hand. Mr. Green, did you, fuck with the Assassin Guild? Because I haven't done anything! I'm a friend of Skyrim! Anyways. Green had a lead on a new rum-running scheme. A connection from Vancouver had given him a sample of to Tiny Paul, the gangster who ran the Tin Spoon Speakeasy. I love these names. A mob boss of Guy Fieri. They agreed to buy in for more as long as he could sell it with not chosen hot sauce. Green summarized the letter was about his summarized that he suspected Redstone Stable, my voice, bootlegger of certain. He told me that a stable ran a barber shop, and during the day they gave him the address. Green needed to know who the threat was from. He'd get Paul's gang to deal with them and continue his scheme to get rich. If I could go snooping myself, he concluded. Folks, see, I'm not trusting people. No trust leads to no customers. I need to play low key now, which is where you come in. I raised an eyebrow and stared at him through the cigarette smoke. Something in his yawn was still twisted. Yarn. He yawned too, but He must have noticed my reluctance, or my retreats, anyways, because he said, "You know, I work closely with Lewis. I'm sure he'd wants to protect me as much as any other victim." My uncle. Lewis put me on the force. I finally accepted Lewis' death. I coughed in his face. I'm still searching for answers. Oh, again, I imagine, this is a fact that we're talking about this. I wonder if I didn't think about the uncle, would this come up? Because again, branching choices, choose your own adventure, that kind of stuff is interweaving weaves. The Matrix! Anyways, Lewis had put me on the force. I'd finally accepted Lewis' death. I was still searching for answers. Oh, with that one. I had finally accepted Lewis's death. It was the only conclusion possible. He had taken his own life. He was the only officer who'd let me walk the beach. So again, some of this is going to happen anyways, but excuse me, I'm pretty sure a lot of this changes based on answers. Okay. And again, this is a demo, so I'm not sure how far or how deep it goes. Anyways, walk the beats or do more crime scenes to comfort a widow. He's been obsessed with helping victims and bringing justice to them and beyond salvation. I quit the San Francisco PD and started my own practice, taking his ethos to heart. Was Green worth my time? Would he be worth Lewis's? Isn't there supposed to be an extra S there after Lewis's? I don't know. I'm not an English major. I barely speak it. Green had tipped off my uncle in a few cases. I wonder if that was enough to warrant protection. Before I could think of the past my headache, he threw a bill in my lap and said, "Keep the C note and as a retainer, and don't worry about getting in touch. I'll find you for a little chat later." He walked out the front door and I let him go. If he's willing to give me $100 with no commitment, I wouldn't stop him. Transition. Anyways, hi Kitty. We have food tonight. I won't have to eat you. Turn back. Dear God, my voice. I'm running out of whiskey, which again is very appropriate for this time too, except this is pumpkin pie moonshine. It wouldn't be that bathtub whiskey they had back then. I turned back to the apartment, still confused about the whole story. My headache wasn't helping either. Whether I lacked clarity, a trip to the Southern Coffee was usually the cure. Whenever I lacked clarity, that is, like how to read English. The door. Mounted a gold plate on... What? Oh. I mounted a gold plate on the outside the door that read, "Dirk Gently's Holistic Medicine, Holistic Detective Agency." I don't care what it actually said. That's what every sign gold-plated should say in a detective's office. Excuse me. There is only one place I need to go to clear my head. The Southern Coffee was a basement dive. It wasn't modern, hip, or even busy, and it was my favorite place to down some pints. Wait a minute, and it was my favorite. Okay. Especially in the company of the best bartender in town. Nice taxi. I gave my address and slouched in the back seat of a taxi cab. I thought a good way to pass the journey might be to chat with the driver. Talk, don't. Talk. Why do my voice is horrible. Why am I talking? He looked quizzically at me, though, the rear view before understanding what I meant. "No, lady, I like it right enough. Just some bozo forced you..." What? "No, lady, I like it right enough. Just some bozo forced you were in here was before you." Sorry, I'm not good with the jive lingo, man. From the 1920s. No, this is 60s. Anyways, some bozo before you were in here was giving me hell 'cause I looked like the boy his daughter was going with. He went off about how my generation was ruining America and that scumbag didn't know jack. Sounds like you know. Sounds like you know. Sure. Sounds like you know more, I asked. I'm no genius, he replied, but you talk to anyone from the last century and they'll tear your ear off from just being young. How'd they get so high, I wonder? Marijuana. Given the world in the 1890s like a smooth running roaster. Wait, give you. That what they do. Bash it on every curve in sight. Their greed, their war. Okay, yeah, this is after. So he's saying everything was nice before you fuckers fought the bread guy. You know, the bread guy from Germany. Kaiser. Like a Kaiser roll. I'm sorry, but that's where my mind went. I'm drunk. Kaiser and a roll. Isn't that? Anyways, I agreed. I've been in taxi cabs before. Just agree with the guy. The ride be over again soon and you'll never have to see him again. I agree with him. The Great War was the hardest fought at home and abroad, I said. The old man who put us there had some nerve. And after those years, they tell us to get in line. It's a bum deal to me, sister. We're in the information age. We're being in the information age we are now. Anyways, the news of the world is crap. They're just angry we can see their folly. The taxi cab rolled to a stop. Anyhow, the driver said, thanks for letting me blow off some steam. Have a nice day, miss. I opened the car door and stepped out. I love this art style. By the way, I desperately need something to drink. Be back in a second.